Why hello there, fellow disaster planners. Radamont here. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn 1.0. Episode 6, Enacting a Plan for Badwater. Oh, we are almost at overflow rate. Oh, and it's another drought. Okay. Well, I have even more Badwater prep. I have been getting lucky that have been droughts and not Badwater. So let's lower the height to 0.9. So it flows not to east. That's just about overflowed, and that's a lot of volume of water just sitting there ready for me to tap. Perfect. I'll probably refill it right before drought, but I don't need to worry about that right now. So the drought is also going to allow me to path this path. So maybe I won't have like a permanent path that avoids the bad water. I'll just focus on this when the next drought hits so that I can clear these blockers and not have to like add additional infrastructure. That would be ideal. Apparently I have no wood, so I'm going to fire and furlough my lumber miller. Because there's not even any wood to use at the moment. We're about to get a whole bunch, though. Yeah, one of the issues of using a lot of levies as building materials, it does make everything really, really expensive. One thing I could do is recoup some of the wood that I've invested. Because I can just grab this and use it. So any wood that I've laid down, which isn't like critical for infrastructure projects, I'll just recoup. So 100% of the materials for this triple floodgate have been delivered. Awesome. We have 4 planks there. And 8 logs, but I do want to... I'm not going to recoup that yet. That's still worth keeping, I think. And yeah, we have a lot more green as a result. That's another added benefit. Not that we're using it. I don't need to use it for anything, but it's nice. Oh, there's another pine tree. Go for it. And we have a lot of unemployed. So all the more reason, because I know you asked, like, oh, am I going to expand the population? No. I already have people that don't have jobs. And I'm... So I don't need even more people that don't have jobs. It might make sense to try to get another efficient farmhouse and to start stockpiling even more sunflower seeds, and then to maybe diversify our foods. Because we are going to have like a windfall of a lot of wood soon as this oak matures. And we'll be able to start grilling food for food. There's also aquatic. As long as this river stays filled, there is the aquatic farmhouse that we would be able to invest in to be able to grow food on the water. You know, if we put a ramp like right here, we'd be able to fill this with cattails and spatterdot for other sources of food. But that's going to wait for a little bit because I don't need that right now. I just want that stair built. In fact, we don't even need this last one. Forget this last one. In fact, I mean, once one is cleared... Oh my god, none of this was actually necessary. Let me recoup that. All we want is that built. Because as soon as that's cleared, we can path this way, just walking on the surface. In fact, one stair would have been enough, but whatever. What is built is built. Please, build this stair. You have the logs. I'm staring at them. For the love of God, just build the thing. Okay. Blockage is getting cleared. Good. So once all 4 blockages are cleared, we'll build a second floodgate. And then start working on the Badwater levees. Nice. Blocks getting cleared. right, with 1 day out from drought, I'm going to raise the river water level up to 0.95. It might make sense to eventually pivot to start tapping this water as a potable water source for drinking. I'm also going to raise this up to 1 and briefly refill this pond. Trying to feather it so that we don't flood, but it fills up. And then amass as much resources as I can so that I have the means to, and I think for now I'm just going to keep this stuff paused because it's not like mission critical. Amass what we can, because the next big one is to clear this blockage. Building this stuff. This is going to be the most important to build because I can only really get over here without getting hurt during droughts. Eventually we'll have a drought-resistant method to get over there, but I don't have that yet. That's the last blockage. After the blockage is cleared, I'm going to destroy this stuff to recoup the cost, haul that stuff back to storage, and then build the floodgate. I don't want to lose any resources. Because we're not going to be able to path westward for any meaningful distance. Because we're just about the physical extent of how far we can build. Alright, that does mean not investing in any of this just yet, because this is more time sensitive, because we can only do this during drought. And with the power wheel, I don't necessarily need to amass the planks right now. So we're at 0.2 days out. What's the cheapest? Levee, dam, or platform? Well, that's not possible to answer. One costs planks, and one costs raw wood. So, like, levees, I guess? Levees are 12 wood. Dams are 20. And then platforms are 6 planks, which, you know, is processed wood. So technically, platforms are cheaper, but they do require a miller. Alright, drought is a 10-day drought. Yeah, that shouldn't be any issue. I don't think that will be a problem. And I can almost guarantee that the next thing is going to be Badwater. I would be super surprised if it wasn't. I'll put it that way. So now, with this drought, let's take advantage of the drought by building the stairs up to the blockage for this bad water source. Meaning we will need to mill for platforms. And we finally hit the 1K science. I'm going to hold on to it. I think I will be investing in an observatory, but the observatory does require pine resin, which I do not have without tapping, and gears, which I do not have. So I think, actually, Gear Workshop makes the most sense for next. Not that I'm going to build one right now. And then a tapper shack for the pine resin, which gives me pine resin and maple syrup. That might be the next logical ones to get. But I'm just going to sit on it for now. Because you never know what kind of emergencies you're going to have. So I'd rather just have a slush fund of science to be able to throw science at future problems. Because there was also the thinking of getting metal smelting, scavenger flag, and the smelter, which is about 550 science. Alright. This, for now, is going to be paused, but obviously this is instrumental in diverting bad water westward. Oaks are at 90%. Yeah, we're about to have more wood than we know what to do with. And then they did build... Yeah, they have all the materials for that stair, so we're about to be able to tap all of this pine here, too. So all of our wood woes are about to end, in other words. Because we're almost within renewable oak wood, and then this will be the stopgap. All right. Now it's about getting ramps up, or stairs up to this zone here. And I think because we don't have Badwater actively running, I'm going to do this as cheaply as possible, just stair down. So this is the most important part, as I mentioned, to clear this blocker so that the Badwater can flow over, keeping this river clean. So during normal seasons, if I have these floodgates and these blockers cleared, all of this bad water can flow away, keeping this clean. But during the bad tides, I will need this infrastructure too, and that one floodgate. But that will be a pretty momentous occasion, because then we manage the bad tide stuff. All right, I'm going to pause some of the inventors so that I have more builders and tree cutters, because we're really bottlenecked on wood. And a lot of these pines are popping, so might as well make use of it. Ev, thank you for the resub. Cheers. Can I remove a blocker on the top and walk on the other blockers? Blockers aren't walkable. They're not pathable, I don't think. If you're wondering, like, this, no, it doesn't work like that. So from this spot, I can remove this blocker, but not this or this, because I can't walk on these to clear that one. So I have to stair down or around. I mean, the alternative, if I don't want to use stairs, is I could, like, levy here to walk around that way. But I think stairs are technically 5 wood, just processed, whereas levees are 12 wood. So I'm going to start using more stairs and platforms if I can to reduce my material costs. I know what you were asking, but no, it's not possible. All right, we're almost at, oh, yep, one more plank. And we're at this here. So it's getting pretty close. Now these here, if we do want to build those, that's a little trickier. Like, where are we going to build those from? I think... Oh, man. I'm sort of curious. So, not that I'm going to build this necessarily. I'm just, like, testing the waters. If we did build the path... Oops. If we did build the paths out here, do I have enough oomph to get me over to these floodgates? Oh my god, I do. Okay, so that answers that. So we would just... We could build the floodgates. Oh, those are too high. Oops. I think... I'm going to buy the 2 high floodgates, as they're more economical. And I have the science now. So I'll build them like this, and then I'll build the 2 high platforms too. Research... used. So, like that. And technically, this could be a 2 high floodgate too. But eventually, I think I'm going to want it 3 high up here. So, I can pool more water. So, there's still a need for a 3 high there. It will just require a stairs to build the higher levees. Oh, you can actually build an infinite distance from the district these days? Interesting. That's a change. Okay, so we have 1 log, 4 planks. 1 log, 4 planks. Clear those blockers, and then build these floodgates. So, it's going to take a while to build those floodgates, because it requires all of this infrastructure first. But these pine trees are popping, and then these oak trees are like seconds away from being harvestable. So the material cost for that is going to be resolved shortly, I think. Like, I'm just not fretted about that. Sweet! Here we are. We can start to clear these blockers. Oh, no, they're actually standing on them. Hold on. Delete. Yeah, okay, they can walk across. Perfect. I can't path there, but they can walk, and that's all that really matters to me. Sweet. Well, in that case, if I want to... I don't think I really need to rush this. This piece of the project is like a nice to have, but not mission critical to have. This is the mission critical stuff. This just allows me to divert this bad water from flowing in this river. This diverts the bad water tide from murdering me. So I'm going to work on big picture stuff first. All right. In terms of drought, our water level here is, I don't know, I'm going to say that's 60%. And then I'm just going to release the water from up here to fill the lower aquifer for funsies. This drought isn't bad enough that it's going to cause me any harm, because I have all of this water stored as a just in case. And there it is. There's the oaks. So now that we have the oaks going, I'll put another flag here, because we have another unemployed, and we should have like infinite wood now. It's really not a barrier to entry anymore. Okay, now that those blockers are being cleared, that allows the bad tide water to flow this way, and this becomes the focus. Plus that. Probably this triple floodgate is the most important, because that triple floodgate keeps the bad water from flowing into our river, and then this becomes second most important, but still pretty important. So, this floodgate is going to get the high priority, and then these blockers are going to get the very high priority. There's the last blocker cleared. And because we did this during the drought, I didn't need like a drought-resistant path over there, because I don't have to come over here for any reason from here on out. Like, I just don't care. Dev hat stuff. So we're all... It's good to know that originally the districts were to mitigate performance issues with path binding, and then they kind of resolved it so they have infinite paths. That's good to know. I didn't know that. Now, the other thing that we do in this zone here is... Actually, one floodgate has been able to handle the flow, so I'm not really worried about, like, adding the second level for this for now. So I'm just gonna... I'll just delete it, knowing that I'll put it back at some point. But it seems less urgent. Oh god, you've been doing nothing there for a long time. I didn't know that. If planks become a bottleneck, maybe we do another hamster wheel. The other thing I was considering is another farmhouse. We're really not able to get out to get a lot of the sunflower seeds before the carrots reseed. The other thing that we could do, and I haven't been doing it yet, but I should, is start to do rooftop terrace to offer recreation or rooftop things. So I'll put a terrace. God, I don't know where I want to put it. Could do one here and one there. Yeah, let's do that. Get a little bit more fulfillment. Because wood is no longer an issue. I mean, you know, the oaks are coming in. So. Actually, you know what? With the oaks coming in, let's stop cutting our tapping shack trees, letting them mature. If we can source all our wood needs from oaks alone, let's do it. Because that would be functionally ideal. And if I wanted to, I could also bridge here to get access to these oaks. Not that I need to. I don't think these oaks... I mean, it's a good amount of wood, but it's not urgent. So the blockers here are cleared. And now we will start to build... how is that floodgate coming? Oh, yeah, it's almost done. Okay, all the planks have been delivered. Now they're just doing logs. So let's start building this stuff. So this stuff here is going to have the normal tier priority. And this is still the high tier. But this is almost done. Nice. Yep, alright. All the materials for that are done. Cool. Now we just have this super project. This mega project. And once this wall's in, all the bad water then can be diverted away from the village, and the bad water events negated nearly entirely. God, I have so many unemployed. Is there something meaningful for them to do? That's the name of the game, right? I could have dedicated haulers. I think I will go ahead and start to build a second farmhouse. So that we can expand our food supply for well-being. Because once I've diverted the bad water, like once that project is done, I can start working on making everyone increasingly more happy, which then have them be more productive, so I can get more bang for my buck for a limited... Because, big picture, each individual beaver obviously requires food and water. So having the beavers work more efficiently by providing for their well-being makes more stuff done than having a larger population, which then requires more infrastructure for food and water. So that's why I think a small, highly efficient population is more sustainable than a really large, inefficient one. Just obviously. So having more now that the bottleneck of wood is mostly resolved as a result of all the oaks maturing, I can start considering planting wheat and potatoes as cash crop instead of focusing solely on carrots and sunflower seeds. I might want to change the location, though. It's a bit late, but, like, wheat is super not drought resistant, and potatoes are super not drought resistant. And putting the wheat kind of near our water aquifer, like, might make sense, because we should have water here. I don't know. It's sort of... I could see it go both ways. There we go. We're going to have a lot more farmers soon. There it is. So they're all employed. Oh, one just aged up. Right as that happened. That's funny. Yeah. All right. So they're building the ramps up there. Maybe at this point doing another power wheel. So I can get a second lumber mill running when there's no running water. And then I'm going to, for now, just have them as an inventor. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. I usually have a lot of inventors as like overflow. What's unstaffed? Oh god, no. That's not what I want. I usually have inventors as overflow, just so there's not like unemployment. Like when in doubt, I just throw them into the inventors for just like passive grind. So the thing about the wheat is wheat needs to be ground in the grist mill. You don't eat raw wheat. And then baked in the bakery. So I know I'm growing wheat. I don't really have... And the same is true of potatoes. Potatoes need to be grilled to be eaten. So I'm starting to grow them, but I don't have a... I'm not, at the moment, investing in the means to actually process them. And that's intentional. I don't need to be reminded of that. I know that. Alright, these floodgates are good. Sweet. Oh, frickin' seriously. Seriously, my guy? Frickin' idiot. Stranded. Instead of, like, watching him slowly starve and die, I'll just break the stairs and rebuild it. Ah, beavers. Leave it to beavers. Don't strand each other. There you go. Good. All right. At this level, we can start working on the levee wall and build the full, complete levee wall project. Be able to hold back the flow of poo. And yeah, almost already at end time. All right, for now, I know I don't have a lot of inventors, so I'm not really using this science all that effectively. But we do have 2 millers now running on power wheels. Not efficient, but because we have a lot of projects requiring planks, these triple floodgates, obviously we're going to want a lot of planks built up for that. And then ideally build this. So just as a reminder, these walls prevent the bad tides from killing me. This wall keeps the bad water from filling this river. If I can get both of them built, what I can do is I can set this floodgate up to 1 meter to run the water here from going west and south, right? Because this is 1 meter tall, 1 meter tall. And what that would do is irrigate this path and this river if this is built. And the advantage of that, of course, is then I have like twice as much irrigated rivers. And then also the potential to store a ton of water here in non-bad tide situations. Because this is a 3-high reservoir of water. So during a drought, I can fill this up intentionally, having an insane amount of water built up back here. And then during bad tides, I can lower this floodgate and let the bad water flow out this way. So this serves dual purposes, both drought resistance and bad tide mitigation, which is why it's a great project, in my opinion. So getting that built will be fantastic. But only when all of it is built. But only the bad tide mitigation is good enough, because we do have water storage here. And if you can see, the water in our main river is maybe like, what, 45%-ish, let's say? Here, if you ignore the lower levels, this is more like 50%, because this isn't actively being pumped, whereas this is actively being pumped. So you can kind of tell there's a slight difference of water level. Slight, but it is there. And that's a result of pumping versus not pumping. So I would like to, at some point, move our water pumping to over here so that this stays as irrigation water, not as potable water. But for now, it doubles as both. Just because we have bigger fish to fry. Pajiro, thank you for the resub. I almost called you pierogi. That would have been a mistake. But yeah, this stuff is, yeah, it's getting built. Looking good. I have no idea why they're not building the stairs, though. They're building the levees and not stairs. They're like order of operation problem. Cheers. And I'm going to go slowly over time. Ever so slightly over time. But yeah, this is why I said, like, our wood needs are going to, we don't have wood needs anymore. I'm actually going to just pause this lumberjack flag because it's, like, really far away from the district. Because this one's much more efficient. These 3 flags. Employing him instead as, like, a builder or scientist or something. Would it be better to have water closer to the houses? They don't care. You irrigate plants, you don't irrigate houses. The dwellings have no benefit from having water near them. That's looking good. And they will be able to... So you can build up 2 tiles. You can build down, like, 4 tiles, I think. Something like that. I think you can place things down. I don't know what the limit is, but it's a really, really, really high limit. So I'm not worried about the verticality of this. If we wanted to, so we already have sunflower storage, and we have... Oh, and they never even built the terraces. You lazy louts. I'll do that just for the well-being. We're going to want to start storing potatoes and wheat. So I'm going to build warehouses for that. So let's do raw potatoes and raw wheat here. I'm not going to actually start milling the wheat. It's kind of, I mean, if anything, it was a little of a mistake for me to start trying to process it prior. I have some regrets. But what I could do is I can start grilling the potatoes. So actually, let's make these potatoes, not wheat. Potatoes, wheat. And then, to that end, put a grill in here. And this will be a recipe for grilled potatoes. And then the wheat will just start stockpiling to be milled later on. I think I'm going to maybe pivot away from wheat. It takes a long time to grow, which is why, like, I could just start piling it. But bread is far down the line. It's not in the cards right now. So there's a levee wall. And water is flowing now. Almost. So in the morning, I'll keep them running on the wheel so the lumber mills work, but I'll pivot over to water wheels in just a moment. And then also would help to refill the pit here. Not that it's like, well, I'm not even going to do it right now. Cool. God, look at all those trees. So now that this chestnut tree is matured, in 8 days it will yield chestnuts. And then same with the maple trees, it will yield maple syrup. The chestnut trees are collected by the food gathering flags. These bad boys, gathering flags. So I might want to move a gatherer flag to bridge the gap between the berries and the chestnut trees, or just to ignore the berries entirely. Because at this point, I think it's safe to say that, like, we don't care. I don't care about berries anymore. So what I'm gonna put a gatherer's flag in there for chestnuts, because roasting chestnuts is is a wellness bonus. And that's another thing that you would grill on. So the other thing I wanted to show is if we fill these floodgates. This is a simulation of a Badwater event. So imagine Badwater's coming out of this water source, not potable, drinkable water. The Badwater will start flowing westward, and then eventually it will flow this way, and will combine with this water to increase the flow rate of this river. But you can see what it will look like. It fills this pond or depth, flows over, and this is the flow test for Badwater. So once this infrastructure is built, the Badwater will then flow out that way. So that's the whole point. So this was just a flow test. And this is now partially contaminated, partially potable. You know, it's a mix. And oops, I flooded everything. So one reason why I have the lodges really far away from where things flood is then it won't ruin the sleep bonuses, because that would be a big hit to your well-being, which I'm actively trying to avoid. Yeah, you can see the levee walls going in. One at a time, but they're getting there. And once that's built, we'll have a lot of protection for future events. Cannot wait. Just so that I don't forget, I'm going to start filling this pond as well. Keeping it topped up from whatever I can. I could at some point build signals with the automation, so that it measures the level of the water and changes the gate level so that it tops up automatically. But for now, I'm going to do it manually because it's cheaper. You have to use a stream gauge to be able to tell the percent of contamination, so that I can only estimate until I get a stream gauge. Wow. Yeah, there's the oaks. Yeah, wood ain't a problem anymore. The speed of collection becomes the bottleneck. And this is an example of being able to build the levee much lower, right? So we built this like 3 units down. And then as they build this section, then this gets built. Then this section gets this built. And so on and so forth. You know, like building the pyramids just in reverse. All right, that pond is, I'm going to say that that's basically full, so I'm going to lower this back up to 0.9. Yeah, it's catharsis seeing those trees ready, absolutely. Because I was like struggling, grabbing wood from every little corner of everywhere, like a madman, and now it's like, oh, yep, we're drowning in it. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say I'm going to rip these pine trees out and remove all the stumps, just so that this is clean land. Basically, I intend for this to be like an industrial area in the long run. So I'm just setting it up for that. And yes, these gates are at 0.9. They're not at 1, so I won't have full flood. Well, guys, I think this is where I'm going to leave off for today. Having survived 5 cycles on hard difficulty with no save scums, and I have a bunch of projects in the queue ready to deal with our first bad tide. But we haven't yet had a bad tide. In my experience, you usually get bad tides around cycle 5. Cycle 4, cycle 5. So this is about the average experience playing on hard. And this, friends, is where I'm going to leave off for this week. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn version 1.0, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I am not, however, looking for feedback or backseating. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow beavers.